Host, my name is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to show you some of the cool plants that kind of around in the yard where I'm currently living. Unfortunately, a lot of the space is already taken up by plants, so I can't really add a whole lot. A lot of them are existing plants, a lot of hostas, but I have added a few things and I kind of wanted to show you. Spring is in the air, things are blooming, and I'm kind of excited to show some of the cool plants off. So follow me outside. Full disclaimer, I haven't really weeded. I haven't had the time or inclination. So you will see a lot of weeds in this video, along with plants. First up is one that I dearly love. It's a native. I'm not sure if it's everywhere in the US or just the Pacific Northwest, but I see it occasionally when on hikes around here. And this is the Geum triflorum, or prairie smoke. And it has these cool, I call them like little ox heads, little flower buds. This is actually the flower, and they give way to these amazing smoky looking seed pods. It's a really easy one, very dependable garden plant. I'm sure it's not like the showiest, but I have a thing for underrated plants like these. Just love them. And then over here is another geum. Kind of surprised it's still alive, but Geum Flames of Passion. And once upon a time when I did a lot more perennial outdoor gardening, I had a thing for geum, and I think I had 15 or 16 different cultivars and species. And this is one of my favorites. Very dependable. With a lot of the cultivars, however, I found regular division every few years was super essential to keep them going. And refreshing with some compost. Then my all-time favorite perennial geranium. This is Geranium Renard II, and I love it. I can't remember where I got it from. It was someplace in Oregon I mail ordered. And they have beautiful felty leaves. So soft, and these are the most amazing flowers. Just those purple veins on the white. Roughly my all-time favorite. It is a slow grower. It will form a mat very slowly and occasionally reseed, so it's not as invasive as some perennial geraniums. My all-time favorite. Then a lot of hostas, which, like I said, were already in place. And this is one of mine. This is a Epimysium orientum. And this is one of the more spreading ground covery types of Epimysium. Some forms are a little bit more mounding, some are a little bit more ground covery. This is obviously the latter. Epimysium are one of those plants that do amazing in congested areas. So if you have a lot of trees, need something for your shade garden that can compete with that root system, these are the ticket. They emerge super early. As you can see, these guys are almost done. They've been in bloom for the last at least 2 weeks. One of my favorites. And again, I used to have quite a few of them. There's still a whole bunch left at my parents' place. If I were to get into perennial gardening again, shady plants are my thing. Especially Epimysium, and I'd have a huge collection one day. I don't know what those two hostas are, but I like them. This is more Epimysium. And I think this was Epimysium rubrum. But they have really pretty sort of pink flowers on them. And you can see how pretty the red mottling is. It's even more intense as it emerges in the early spring. And coral bells. I think that's probably the marmalade. And Brunera. Originally Jack Frost, and it seeded itself into a non-hybrid now. Another cool plant is Azaleas. This is Sunningdale variegated, another one of my plants. And it's commonly called masterwort. And the Sunningdale variegated, I think, is one of the few variegated forms out there. I think there's at least 2 others, but has really pretty white starry flowers on it. Really great for shade, part shade, although you'll have sturdier stems with a little more sun. And another one of those oddball plants that I just can't get over is Polygonum biflorum, or Solomon seal. Look at those cool flowers. I have a thing for white, green flowers, or just plain green flowers. And Polygonum is another one of those plants that does well in a lot of root competition, even dry shade. And it's a spring bloomer, beautiful, interesting structure the rest of the year, and then generally some golden yellow fall coloration on it. It does spread, but colonize is a good word. I wouldn't call it invasive. I had a really cool species once upon a time. I'm not sure if my parents still have it at their garden, but it was Polygonum humile, I think it is, or humili. It's a very dwarf form that has like stems maybe 6-8 inches, and the flowers hang downward instead of arching stems. And this is kind of my little weed infested area I'm trying to deal with. I planted it up last year. This is a very slug-eaten Ruud Jersey. I think it's Ruud Jersey brown lob. But they call it that because the new foliage is generally a very bronzy color. It turns more green, and they have these clusters of small pink or white flowers. I love it. Probably gonna need to put some slug bait down. It's a really cool, dramatic foliage, large foliage for the shade garden. And this is Lungwort Pullmania. Silvery leaves. The name on this one might be Trevi Fountain. It's been a long time since I kept track of these things, but I believe it's Trevi Fountain. You see there's spotted, and then there's the more silvery leaf. I think it tends to be a little bit more silvery, and then as it grows out, turn a little more mottled. I think old-fashioned plant. I think they called it boy-girl plant. For some varieties, the old-fashioned ones especially, pink and blue on the same plant, which in reality is just, they open pink, they turn purple, and then finally that blue. It is a mildew magnet, especially if you have it in a place that doesn't get much air circulation, but a cool one nonetheless. This is a dwarf Epimysium. I think it's, I'd have to look up the species. It's either Nanum or Bandit. I can't remember. It has the cutest little tiny white flowers and tiny foliage that's edged in brown burgundy. It's the tits. Then this guy, surrounded by all these weeds, is a Filipendula ulmaria variegata, I think. The Meadowsweet with variegated foliage. And it definitely wants to revert. So if you see green sprouts, you have to pretty much immediately yoink them out or it will overtake. That plant is an Iconitum, or monkshood, or wolfsbane. This was one I grew by seed probably, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, and it hasn't flowered, but it seems to like its current home. This might be red wine. I grew it by seed, and I'm not 100% sure if red wine is a cultivar that comes true from seed. I think it might bloom this year, and it's a very unusual Iconitum. Most of them are either, most commonly purple shades, some white and pink. This one is a sort of a burgundy wine color. Highly toxic plant, which makes it even more attractive to me. I do love good poisonous plants just on hand when you need them. I think like 4 micromilligrams can kill someone? Not sure. This guy, looking kind of sad amongst the weeds, is a Thalictrum rochebrunianum. I'll try and find a picture of it when it's in bloom. It is quite something. It's like a columbine, but more fluffy and tall and delicate. I love it. And this, it is, I think it's it's related to a hydrangea. It's a Dinanthe bifida, and it's a pretty rare Asian plant. I think they might even call it like Asian hydrangea or something like that. But this is again another plant I raised many years ago by seed. Has not flowered once, but it is colonizing. You can see a few little dudes around. I'm hoping eventually it might. And I used to grow a lot of plants by seed. I used to do seed trades all the time. I did international seed trades. It was a lot of fun. Primarily winter sowed. This is just a common horse chestnut, but oh my god, look at those cool flowers. Boyfriend and I love this tree, even though it is a huge nuisance plant, but we love watching the bumblebees and honeybees have their way with the flowers. It's just, you sit under it in a hammock and you can just hear the roaring buzz from all of them. I love how there's like different shades in here. There's dark pink and yellow and tangerine. They are cool blossoms. There's also a few really cool species and cultivars of Azaleas out there. I think it's Pavia, which has true pink spikes on them. This tree drops awful amount of chestnuts, which are difficult to get out of the grass, and they sprout freaking everywhere. And they have really nasty seed pods, which are pretty much like Mother Nature's Legos and fuck your feet up when you walk barefoot. And then we have a wild Casey.
Oh shit. I've been spotted.
Hi.
Oh, don't look at me, look at the honeybee.
Look at the honeybee.
Look at the little brown, look at that fat bumble.
Zoom in, don't you grab it from me? Hi, Mr. Bumble. Bumble. Okay guys, so this is the front yard. And there is a lot of noises happening in the neighborhood, so I will try and talk a little louder. I'll be showing you the plants that I added or that I know what they are. This is just some very gorgeous, albeit pink, azaleas. And they surprisingly do alright, even though I never acidify the soil, and they generally like it. And this hosta, I know what it is. That's pineapple upside down cake. Potentially the slowest growing hosta I have ever encountered. And that is a Mucdenia rossii, or Rossi, crimson fans. And it has big maple-like foliage, but it's a ground cover, and it turns bright red in the fall. Some lilacs, which my city is known for. And then one of the best vines you will ever meet, also one of the potentially most invasive ones, is hops, Humulus lupulus, or Humulus lupus. This is the gold variety. It's very gorgeous. As you can see, it does need some sort of support, which we generally trellis with some string, twine, or whatnot. Provides great coverage. This guy is the August moon or autumn moon, I can't quite remember, Japanese maple. And it is more of a chartreuse when it's in deep shade, and then has this definitive reddish color when put in more sun. This massive boy is a Bugbane, and it will get, no joke, white flower spikes at least 8 feet tall come late summer and fall. This is also a plant that I bought long time ago. This is an Acer, I think it's a Norway maple. Put the full Latin up there, but they call this one the Esk or Eskimo Sunset. And the new leaves are this amazingly pink tinged cream green variegation. And I just wanted to point out something which you guys might have noticed. Maybe you guys have dealt with it before, but this is what's called blister mite. And while unsightly, it won't kill the plant. But you can tell by those raised red patches. Kind of interesting, huh? It's a beautiful tree. It's not one that's commonly grown either. That will conclude today's video, and I enjoyed showing you guys around some of the plants that are in my garden right now. Quick shout out to Erin. Thank you for finding me this awesome shirt. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Made me very happy to spend some time with you, show you the garden. Hope you're all doing well, staying happy, healthy, sane. I will talk to y'all later. Goodbye.